This video has words starting with A, W, A, X, A, Y and A, Z. The first word is shucks in American and shucks in British. It is informal North American, which means self-deprecating and shy. He is filled with shucks niceness. When your dad says, "No one will love you more than me, daughter," then the daughter says, shucks, dad, I didn't know you loved me so much. So basically, before saying thank you, you can say, shucks, thanks, man. So, shucks is kind of being humble or innocent or simple or modest. The opposite of shucks is like you're very experienced and critical, sophisticated. So, yes. I said self-deprecating. Actually, deprecating is like you're disapproving it. Okay, so if someone is saying thank you, you're disapproving it to yourself. Don't say thanks. Okay, shucks, don't say it. Okay, so that is also one way of your saying. Or it is like you're self-diminishing. Deprecating means it's another term for depreciating, which means you're diminishing value over a period of time. So you're saying it is okay. You're belittling yourself. You're depreciating yourself, and you're saying, okay, shucks, it's okay, dad. So when you are belittling yourself and shy, you can say he's filled with shucks niceness. So he's so nice. Or yeah, and before saying thanks also, shucks, thanks, man. Basically, when someone is praising you, you're belittling yourself, and you're saying thank you. That is the real. You can say, shucks, you flatter me, darling. So yeah, that's you're feeling so praise. You're feeling so flattered, but you think you're behaving so humble is where you should use shucks. You're showing yourself to be simple and humble is what shucks means. The next word is await in American and await in British. It is of an event or circumstance be in store for someone. Many dangers await them. So you're just waiting for an event. We await the proposals with impatience. So it's basically wait for. Next word is awake in American and awake is British. It is like you wake up or show signs of life. Two meanings. So one is stop sleeping, wake from sleep. So she awoke to find the streets covered in snow. Or sensible of, or that is also another meaning. Too few are awake to the dangers. Be sensitive or sensible of the dangers. Regain consciousness is also awoke. I awoke, none the worse for the operation. Not asleep is also awake. The noise might keep you awake at night. So it is wakeful or sleepless is also awake. Make or become active again is also awake. There were echoes and scents which awoke some memory in me. So this is like it is you're bringing back your old memory. Cause someone to wake from sleep, or you're just bringing back your old memory, or be aware of. It is also the three meanings of awake. The authorities finally awoke to the extent of the problem or realized. The next word is awaken in American and awaken in British. It means make someone aware of something for the first time. The film helped to awaken many to the horrors of apartheid. Or a rouse of feeling. Different images can awaken new emotions within us. It is like arouse or bring out, generate or trigger, stir up. So rouse from sleep, cause to stop sleeping, can also be called as awaken. Anna was awakened by the telephone. Or stop sleeping. He sighed but did not awaken. When she awakened, the sun was streaming through the windows. So these are the three different meanings. One from bear, one from a feeling, yeah, and another is the awareness related. The next word is award. Like when you say word, how would you say word? So award in American and R is silent, and it is award in British.
Award. Award. Award.
it is award in American and award in British, which is nothing but a prize or other mark of recognition given in honor of an achievement. The company's annual award for high quality service. It's a trophy or medal or reward, honors, decorations, anything could be an award. An amount of money given as an official payment, compensation or grant. A 1% pay award. Payment, it could be a payment or settlement, compensation, anything could be called as award. Or give or order the giving of something as an official payment or compensation or prize to someone. He was awarded the Military Cross. The award of an honorary doctorate. The action of giving a payment, compensation or prize is the basic meaning of award. Or you can say the company was awarded a contract to refurbish the timber mill. It is grant or assign a contract or commission to a person or an organization. Another sense of meaning is giving or granting. The award of. The next word is aware. In American, an R is silent. It is aware in British, which means concerned and well informed about a particular situation or development. Everyone needs to become more environmentally aware. And everyone, that's the meaning. Having a knowledge or perception of a situation or fact is the meaning. Most people are aware of the dangers of sunbathing. So this is the meaning of aware and awareness. Aware and awareness. Next is awash in American and awash in British. So the the sense of meaning is containing large number of numbers or amounts of someone or something. The city was awash with journalists, or it is covered or flooded with water, especially sea water or rain. The boat rolled violently, her decks awash. Or when I say a rock awash outside the reef entrance, it means level with the surface of water so that it just washes over. So basically it is submerged or engulfed or covered with water. The next word is away in American and away in British. It means of a sport fixture played at the opponent's ground. Tomorrow night's away game at Leicester. Played at the opponent's ground. So it is away from your home ground, so you call it as away. With reference to a sports fixing or venue at the opponent's ground. Oh, what fun it is to see the Mariners win away. So an away match or win, which means it's conducted in the other person's area. And otherwise, away from the trouble, at a distance apart, isolated is the main meaning of away. When he was 10 or 12 feet away, he stopped. So at a distance or at a specified future distance in time. The wedding is only weeks away. When I say the museum has shifted its emphasis away from research towards exhibitions, it means conceptually to one side so as no longer to be the focus of attention. When I say he put away the pistol, it means into an appropriate place for storage or safekeeping. When I say Maria felt her distress ebbing away, it means into non-existence, gone. When I say the away side scored first, it means relating to or denoting a sports team that is played at the opponent's ground. When I say in front of them the land fell away to the river, it means towards a lower level, downwards. The next word is awe. Awe, A-W-E. I was in awe. Awe means a feeling of reverential respect mixed with fear or wonder. If you are seeing God, you'll be like in a respect and in wonder. Or if you're seeing your school headmistress coming close to you, you will be in awe and awestruck. So they gazed in awe at the small mountain of diamonds. Archaically, it means capacity to inspire awe. It is any wonder that Christmas Eve has lost its awe. That is not used in these days. It is basically awe is filled with wonder or wonderstruck, awestruck or amazed. You are filled with amazement, lost for words, open mouthed, awe. Or it is inspired with awe. They were both awed by the vastness of the forest, the vast forest. Inspired is awestruck or impressed or stunned, afraid at the same time, frightened because you're so amazed.
Airy. Airy. Aweary. Aweary.
So it is basically a weary in both accents. Aweary is an adjective with literary form of weary. I am well aweary of it now. It means you're just tired of it now. There is an old saying called no rest for the weary or no rest for the weary, which means used as a WRY, observation on the heavy workload or absence of relaxation that seem to characterize a person's situation. So if you want to keep yourself busy, sometimes you should say this phrase in a negative way because you should get some relaxation. The next word is awesome in American and awesome in British, which means informally it means extremely good or excellent. The band is truly awesome. It means extremely impressive or daunting, DAUNTING, inspiring awe. Okay, the awesome power of the atomic bomb. So it is breathtaking. The next word is awful in American and awful in British, which means of a person very unwell or troubled. I felt awful for being so angry with him. I feel so bad for being so angry with him. Not bad. I feel, bad, appalling. It's atrocious. The meaning of awe is like reverential wonder or fear. But archaically, that was the same meaning for awful. But now it is only extremely shocking or horrific. Awful, bloody images. In North American, informally, they awfully very. They use, rather than using very, they use awfully. We are an awful long way from the motorway. It is like a very, in a bad sense, in a tiring, weary sense, they used to say we are an awful way long from the motorway, which means we are a very long way from the motorway. It is used in North American informal, which we can also use. And when I say Ronnie's awful accident at the crossroads, it means it's a very serious, bad, terrible, dreadful. When I say I have made an awful fool of myself, here it is used to emphasize the extent of something, especially something unpleasant or negative, just like the very, very long road. This is also very bad. This is also in the same meaning. When I say the place smelled awful, it means very bad or unpleasant. And when I say very unpleasant, disgusting, it also means awful. Or in North American, it is used to emphasize the extent of something. It's an awful fool of myself, awful distance, awful away, etc. Next word is a while in both accents. Distinguishing the term a while and a while can be tricky. This may be due to the fact that both these terms are used to express time and commonly used. Here is how to avoid the confusion. While they sound and look very similarly, these terms actually represent different parts of speech. The word a while is an adverb used to denote for a short time. It clearly will take a while for him, for Beer's offense to take shape. The next thing is, what is the joker's real name? You might have to wait a while to find out. Or another example is interview. UFC SLC's that call took a while to actually set in. These are the examples of a while. In all three examples, a while is used to refer to the amount of time it took or people waited for a certain condition or event to happen. On the other hand, a while is a two-word expression used as a noun phrase consisting of the article a and a noun while. The phrase a while generally means a period, length, or interval of time. For example, bowled in a T20 tie at Chepauk ground after quite a while, and it felt nice, said by a cricketer. Trump and Clinton will go down in history for a while. For some time, yeah. Apple iPhone estimates raised for the first time in a while in India. Here all these indicates the second a while. So a while means for a short time. Stand here a while, please. So stand here for a short time, please. So a while means for a moment, for a while, etc. Stand here a while. The next word is awkward in American and awkward in British, which means causing difficulty, hard to do or deal with. Some awkward questions mean some difficult or tricky questions, not the straightforward or not the conventional or not the easy ones. Or when I say he had put her in a very awkward position, it means causing or feeling uneasy, embarrassment, or inconvenience. So basically, awkward means graceless or clumsy, uncoordinated. When I say you're being damned awkward, here means deliberately unreasonable or uncooperative. When I say Luther's awkward movements impeded his progress, here awkward means not smooth or graceful, ungainly, uncomfortable or abnormal. Make sure the baby isn't sleeping in an awkward position. So unreasonable, uncooperative, etc. could also be called as awkward, the awkward moment. That awkward moment when somebody you don't know joins the conversation. How awkward are you? So you give an awkward smile. When you are trying not to be awkward today, but someone says, hey, and you reply, good, how are you? The next word is awl in American and awl in British. It means a small pointed tool used for piercing holes, especially in leather. Usually a cobbler who meant the shoes, right? He will be this awl. The awl will be looking something like this. The next word is awning in American and awning in British, which means a sheet of canvas or other material stretched on a frame and used to keep the sun or rain off a shop window, doorway, or ship's deck. It is basically a canopy, shade or sunshade or shelter covering blind or sun blind, etc. etc. In cars, you will have the sun blind thing or sunshade. The awning is something like this, like the roof above the portico. There is metal awning, awning window, canopy awning, retractable awning.
Awning. Awning. Awoke. Awoke.
And awoke is the past tense of awake.
Awry. 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 Awry.
It is like it is the short form of arrive. You just say arrive, arrive in American and arrive in British. So arrive means miss, wrong, not right. So when I say I got the impression that something was awry. Here awry means away from the usual or expected course, something wrong. Many youthful romances go awry. It is like out of the normal or correct position. Askew. He was hatless, his silver hair awry. See here the buses awry. The best plans of men and mice often go awry. It's a kind of proverb. So yes, in the newspaper it was said 7 drown in Ganga at Kanpur as selfie session goes awry. So yes, up and awry. See, up See this picture, up and right, it's a miss. So that's all with the AW. The next is AX. The first word is axe in American and axe in British, which everyone knows, a tool used for chopping wood, typically of iron with a steel edge and wooden handle. I started swinging the axe at the lumps of driftwood. There are other things which, when it's at a small axe, it is called hatchet, and a cleaver is another type. I will show you. So the first one is axe in American and it is British axe. And hatchet is a smaller version of axe. When it is pointed, it is called ice axe and ice axe. And this is pickaxe. This kind of knife, it is looking like a butcher's knife. It is called cleaver. So cleaver is a tool with a heavy broad blade used by butchers for chopping meat cleaver. With axe you can say the trees were axed. But when I say the show was axed, it means it is ended or cancelled or dismissed suddenly and ruthlessly. The company is axing 125 jobs, which means cancel, withdraw, abandon, discontinue. Sometimes axe is also informally a musical instrument used in popular music or jazz, especially a guitar or originally a saxophone. You can call a sax axe. That is not used for the traditional songs. It's only for more like the jazz and jazz. And sometimes it is also used reducing cost or services drastically. The Chancellor warned the cabinet to axe public spending. So here it means to reduce. There is something called the axe guitar also, just I said about informally with the musical thing. Here it is reducing is a measure intended to reduce cost drastically, especially one involving redundancies. 30 staff are facing the axe at the Royal Infirmary. And when I say the plant paneling had been axed, it means cut or strike with an axe, especially violently or destructively. When I say fears for future of that hospital with plans to axe more than a quarter of beds, it means to reduce or end abruptly. So the next word is axial in both the accents. Axial is related to or forming an axis, the main axial road, and so it is relating to or attached to the axis, or it is an adjective situated on or along or in the direction of an axis, or of or relating to or resembling an axis of rotation. When I say the axial rotation rate of the earth, it means around an axis. Here they say the axial depth, which means related to the axis. And in this picture it is said the axial force, which is the force which is parallel to the longitudinal axis of the member. So I was talking about axis all this time while doing axial. So what is axis? Axis is nothing but the straight central part in a structure to which other parts are connected. You can use example of tire. The central part is called, where the 4 screws are fixed, are called the axis of the tire. Or when I say the hour, it means the alliance. The alliance of Germany, ALLIANCE, of Germany and Italy, formed before and during the Second World War, later extended to include Japan and other countries, and they became the Axis powers. So the another meaning of Axis is the union, When I say the Anglo-American Axis, it means an agreement or alliance between 2 or more countries that forms a center for an eventual larger grouping of nations. Usually, the union is between the nations to form the axis. So, or in the third meaning, it is The earth revolves on its axis once every 24 hours. It means an imaginary line about which a body rotates. Or it is an imaginary line which divides something into equal or roughly equal halves, especially in the direction of its greatest length. In anatomy, it is the second cervical vertebra below the atlas at the top of the backbone. In botany, it is the central column of an inflorescence or other growth. The leaflets are arranged in rows on a slender axis. So the third meaning is the central line or the vertical or the horizontal. The earth revolves on its axis once every 24 hours. In geometry, it is an imaginary straight line passing through the center of a symmetrical solid about which a plane figure can be conceived as rotating to generate the solid. So in mathematics, it is a fixed reference line for the measurement of coordinates. The variable that is thought of as a cos is placed on the horizontal axis, and the variable that is thought of as an effect on the vertical axis. The plural of axis is not axes, it is axes, axis. In zoology, it also means the skull and backbone of a vertebrate animal. Do you remember? In geometry, we draw the x-axis, y-axis, x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. These in the picture, these are the varieties of axes you can draw. Or it could be the axis, the earth is revolving like this in the picture. Or an anatomical axis, like in the picture, an axis is a straight line around which an object rotates. Movement at the joint takes place in a plane about an axis. See, this is horizontal axis, this is longitudinal axis, this is antero-posterior axis. And this is the axis in picture. What you see is the axis of the stalk is called the axis of the leaves. And this in the picture is the axis of rotation of earth. It is not straight here, it is inclined. So the rotation is also inclined, and there will be new current location of Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn because of the inclination. This is another image of earth axis. There is also an inclination. AXES is the only way to make the noun axis into plural. Confusion arises because some mistakenly believe that all nouns ending in S sound should form a plural that adds ES to the end of the word. Of note, the plural AXES is also the plural for the noun AXE. For axe also, the plural is AXES. For axis also, the plural is AXES. Axis is also a name of an animal. Can you believe it? Because axis is another term for chital. A chital is a deer having lyre-shaped antlers and a white spotted fawn coat native to India and Sri Lanka. And this is the image of chital.
Wow.
So the next word is axile. Not axe oil, it is axile. It is relating to or attached to the axis. This is also something similar to axial. This is axile. The axile in American and axile, a short form, not axe. It's axile in British. Basically, it is in botany of relating to or attached to the axis. Suxile is relating to or attached to the axis, the axial angle or axial. Both spellings means the same, AXIAL and AXILE. AXIAL is axial, AXILE is axial. Both are same, variant spellings. The next word is axilla. Axilla is nothing but the armpit. Armpit is a pyramid-shaped space between the upper part of the arm and the side of the chest. Functions: it forms an important passage for nerves, blood and lymph vessels as they travel from the root from the root of the neck to the upper limb. So axilla is nothing but the armpit. See, this is his axilla, and pyramid shape between the upper part of the arm and the chest. So yes, and this is the axial lymph nodes present in a female. That sounds so funny. Axilla is looking like a girl's name and it means armpit. The next word is axillary. There is another word called auxiliary. Auxiliary, that is AUX. This is simply AXILLARY, which means in anatomy it is relating to the armpit or a corresponding part, enlargement of the axillary lymph nodes. In botany, it is in or growing from the axil, axillary buds. So basically in ornithology, it is the feathers growing from the axilla of the bird. Axilla is nothing but the armpit of the bird. So this is the axillary human anatomy chart. The first part, second part, third part here is the axillary artery. And this is the axillary bud. So it is present in the axis. Axillary artery, the one that I just showed previously. The next word is axiom and axiomatic.
Axiomatic.
So it is nothing but a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true. The axiom that sport builds character. So axiomatic truth is accepted truth, general truth, or it is a saying or adage, ADAGE. They say the axiomatic economics, which means the practical or the true kind of economics, as seen in this figure. It is an axiom that your mom is fat. Hey mom, it is like an universal law. In mathematics also we have axioms just like what you see in the picture. The triangle is equal to a square, a rectangle is equal to a square. Things which are equal to the same things are equal to one another. Basically, these are assumptions and definitions which can be used to prove new results. Axiomatic assumptions do not have to be proved themselves because they seem evident. For example, angles on a straight line total 2 right angles. All right angles are equal to each other. Any 2 points may be joined by a straight line. So these are axiomatic assumptions. And an axiom is a proposition accepted as true without proof within the mathematical system. There are many examples of axioms in mathematics, like the one we just saw. So axiomatic is self-evident. Axiomatic, D in American. Axiomatic is self-evident or unquestionable. It is axiomatic that dividends have to be financed. So we can also say 1914 saw the first axiomatic declaration of exactly what constitutes a ring, which is in mathematics relating to or containing the axioms, which is self-evident or unquestionable, undeniable, accepted, taken for granted, needing no proof. It is axiomatic what goes up must come down. And the last word of AX is axle, that is a rod or spindle, either fixed or rotating, and it is passing through the center of a wheel or group of wheels. The exhaust pipe corrodes around the bend which goes over the rear axle on motor cars. So yeah, it is the other words are the shaft, spindle, rod, pivot. So you could see picture, this is the axle that goes round the wheel. So this is the automotive axle, car related axle, and propeller shaft. So this thing is also the rod, that is the line that is going on between the two wheels, is also called the axle. So there is something called dead axle, wheel and axle. So any two wheels will be connected with the rod, that is also called axle. A wheel and axle. A wheel is a lever arm. The wheel is a lever arm that is fixed to a shaft, which is called an axle. The wheel and axle move together as a simple lever to lift or to move an item by rolling. It is important to know within the wheel and axle system which is applying the effort and resistance force, the wheel or the axle. The wheel and axle is a simple machine consisting of a large wheel rigidly secured to a smaller wheel or shaft called an axle. Here it is called the wheel is fixed to a small wheel because the shaft is also round and it is looking like a small wheel, small circle. When you take the rod, the thing is small circle. So the one and only word in AY is I. When you listen to the Pirates movie, you will have heard I Captain. So in voting, I assent, I agree. So there's a sentence goes like this: all in favor say aye. So I means an affirmative answer, especially in voting. The house divided. Ayes are 21 and noes are 21. AYES is the ayes here. And archaically in Scottish it is called A. It is not I here, it is A. Like in Scottish, which is not used now in archaic, A is always or still. I have fancied seeing Edinburgh. It means I have always fancied seeing Edinburgh. But normally I Captain or I is used as exclamation. Everything is like yes. Sometimes it is also used to yes, you're right there. You're right there. I Captain, you're right, the wind is so strong. So in nautical it is a response accepting an order or exclamation. Aye, Captain.
Azure. 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 Azure.
So it is Azure in American and Azure in British. It is not sure, it is Azure. It is basically a bright blue color. A flash of azure drew my eye to a kingfisher. Or it could be a small butterfly, which is typically blue or purplish. Basically, azure is bright blue in color, like a cloudless sky. Thin streaks of cloud trailed across an azure sky. So nothing else is basically the sky, cloudless sky, or the sea could be called as the bright blue in color, like a cloudless sky, is the basic reason. And heraldry, it is the blue, saltire azure. Saltire azure is the Scottish flag, a blue field like the one you see in the picture, a blue field with a white diagonal cross that extends to the corners of the flag. Or literally it means the clear sky. So basically it is the sky blue or deep blue, bright blue, ultramarine, etc. Azalea. Azalea is the next word, which is nothing but a deciduous flowering shrub, clustered, brightly colored, sometimes fragrant, smaller than other rhododendrons. It looks like a Tamil Allipu. And the last word of AZ is a member of the American Indian people dominant in Mexico before the Spanish conquest of the 16th century, Aztec.